Welcome to this special show here on Up the Cherries in all departments. Now, I do appreciate we are an AFC Bournemouth fans channel. Please do give us a like, subscribe, and the bell button, whichever team you support, because we are going to be covering every team across the Premier League at some stage. You'll have already seen as well, there's been a lot of fan videos that have been going out with their opinions of the season and snippets from Harry. Well, this is the big one. So this is the show where Harry goes through all of his predictions, and also we discuss every single team. He also, in this video, makes his predictions of who's going to win the Premier League, also who's going to make the Champions League, and also who's going to be dropping out of the Premier League next season. And Harry offers me a bet as well. You'll have to stay tuned to watch the whole of this to find out what that is. But further ado, here we go. Here is the season preview show with Harry Redknapp. Welcome back onto the show, Harry. How you doing, mate?
Great. Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And looking forward to another season in the Premier League. Of course, it's all a bit changed at Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah, it has changed. I mean, I was surprised, very surprised, like most people, that Gary left. Gary O'Neill, I thought he did a great job last year. But listen, it's the owners. That's their choice. It's their decision, and a new guy's come in, and we've got to give him all the support, and hopefully he can make a big success of the job. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, most definitely. And he's quite an exciting coach. Did a very good job at Rayo Vallecano last season. But Bill Foley is spending money, isn't he? And that is the big thing. There's rumours that we're going in for Alex Scott and throwing money at that. Justin Kluivert's coming. But there's other players as well that are being rumoured and linked to the club. It's an exciting time, for our small club, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. People don't realise, as I said before, where the club's been, where it's come from, the history of the club. To be in the Premier League is it's an amazing story. I mean, if you'd have said to me, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, this club will be in the Premier League one day, I thought you was crazy. I thought it's absolutely impossibility, but it's just been an amazing, amazing story. Amazing journey, really, and to be back in there and survive safely last year, quite comfortably in the end. And I don't see any reason next year why we can't push on again. Certainly, I don't see them being a relegation outfit. I think that I'm sure the club is, we're going to establish ourselves in there again next year.
Well, one club that did very, very well last season, albeit not the Premier League position, but in the cup, in the Europa Conference League, was your old team, West Ham, and it was great to see them get some silverware in the cabinet. But do you think it's going to be an easy season for the West Ham? Do you think they'll surely now they're going to be looking to go that extra step, but they've got to do that now without Declan Rice?
Well, I mean, sometimes you sell a player and you get that amount of money, and so now they can bring 3 or 4 players in probably with that money. If they spend it wisely, they can strengthen the team, strengthen the squad, and be a better all-round team. Declan's, he's a tremendous player, but with that money, and plus other money, it's not just that money they're relying on. They've got the Sky money, everything else. They've got a nice lot of money to spend this year on players, and if they do that and spend it wisely, West Ham's, it's no reason they can't have a top half finish next year.
A lot of West Ham fans did knock Moyes until they won the Europa Conference League, but personally, I've always thought he's a very, very good coach. He's done a very good job at Everton beforehand.
Yeah.
I think Man United really should have given him a bit more time. I feel it's a bit harsh on some of the West Ham fans to say that he really needed to be replaced.
Oh, absolutely. He was under pressure. I think if they hadn't won that cup, who knows what would have happened, but they did win it. It was, listen, Dave is a top coach, top manager. And, he knows the job. He can only do what he can do with what he's got at his resources, the resources he's got at hand. And I'm sure next year they've had a couple of real good seasons. Last year was a blip in the Premier League, but there's no reason they can't come back strong again next year. And he's the man to do it, really.
Another of your former sides, though, didn't particularly have a great season, and that was Spurs.
Yeah,
And it kind of went off the boil. Three managers during the season, but a chance to restart. But with regards to Harry Kane, can you see him staying at Tottenham Hotspur? Do you think he'll move to somewhere like Man United? And will Daniel Levy be able to keep the player happy?
I think he'll stay. I don't see where he wants to win trophies, Harry. Oh, it's that's the. I think people are pushing him into telling him he's got to win some medals. I don't know if he has got to win medals. I listened to Alan Shearer yesterday on the TV, and he said, did he regret not going to Man United? But he stayed at Newcastle. He said, not at all. He broke records. He played for a club that he'd been at, that he loved and everything. Harry Kane has come through the youth team. He's a legend at that club. His life is great. He's earning a fortune. They're going to look next year. They've got a new manager next year. They're going to bring some more players in. They've spent it. They're in the top five spenders every year, Tottenham.
Mhm.
Next year, hopefully, they can have a really good season. I mean, unless you go to Man City, where are you guaranteed to win a trophy? There is nowhere. That's the only team you could probably look at and say, yeah, they'll certainly win at least one trophy again next year. They might win two, they might win three again. But there's nowhere else you can guarantee to win a trophy. I mean, Man United are not guaranteed to win any trophies next year. They're still way behind Man City at the moment. So, and talking about them going to Germany, why do you want what you got to prove going to Bayern Munich, really, winning the Bundesliga?
Mhm.
What's that do for you? I think he's better off. I think he'll start Tottenham. I don't see him moving.
And could you see Tottenham getting back into the top four this season, considering that there's such competition now, really, for those
Yeah, I
places?
can. I think they'll certainly be challenging. They look stronger than Chelsea.
Hmm.
They look, Liverpool had a poor season last year. They've got to pick up next year. Man City, Arsenal, nailed on top. Them two for sure. I can't see them not being in the top four. After that, it's a toss up. Man United, I would think, probably finish, I could see them finishing third or fourth. And then it's a toss up for that other place. And Newcastle getting stronger, doing well. But yeah, Tottenham would have a real chance next year. I think Chelsea have got a massive rebuilding job.
Hmm.
Aston Villa are decent, but they're not. I wouldn't say it's Brighton are good. They've done well, but I still think Tottenham can finish above any of them teams.
Do you know what? I'm always going to have to remind you, Harry, of Newcastle and what I said last season when I actually predicted that Newcastle would finish third. They didn't. They didn't. They finished
No, but
fourth.
that was a bold shout. I must give you credit there, Craig. I didn't see that at all. That was an amazing shout on your behalf. Where'd you see him finishing next year?
Fourth.
Fourth, yeah, could do.
Mm.
Great club, great support. Eddie's done a fantastic job there. With Jason Tyndall and all the staff, the boys he took up there. So, and the support is amazing. It's a superb football club. Great supporters turn up every week in their black and white striped shirts. They deserve success. They do. They're really a special group of fans. I think Newcastle.
I've spoken to a number of Newcastle fans, one being Kendall Rowan from the overlap, and really we was talking about Eddie Howe and what he's done there and the great work he's continued to do. He actually went over to Spain and uh, watched Iriola at Rayo Vallecano, but also Jason Tyndall is number two, and Jason didn't really have as the main man at Bournemouth. I think it was always going to be very tough stepping into Eddie's shoes, but
Absolutely, yeah.
those two as a combination, can just go from strength to strength, can't they?
Oh, absolutely. They've got the right platform to do it. Newcastle United Football Club. Yeah, and they're a good team, that's for sure. They've done a fantastic job together. So let's hope that continues for many years to come before Eddie probably ends up as England manager one day.
Yeah. Can you imagine that happening?
Yeah, oh
England.
yeah, for sure. Absolute certainty, I think. If it's what he wants, but yeah, for sure.
With regards to Man City and Arsenal, of course, those two, Arsenal are really, really strengthening during this summer. Of course, they've signed Declan Rice.
Yeah.
They look like they're going to be spending more money. They've already bought in Jerry Timber as well from Ajax. So they're spending money sensibly, spending big money. What do the other sides need to do to actually get above those two?
Well, they've signed Havertz as well. What do they
Yeah,
need to do? They need to. There's no way getting above them. There's no unless you go and spend a fortune. There's not. No one's going to get above them unless you go out and bring in 4 or 5 fantastic players. No one's got a magic wand in football. No one's going to go and suddenly coach a team that's halfway up the table to finish above them. Whoever's chasing them need to improve their squads. Tottenham need to go and bring in 3 or 4 players. They've made a great signing in Madison. They need to go and make 3 or 4 more signings. Chelsea have got to make signings if they want to catch them. Liverpool I still think they're 1 or 2 short. If they're going to catch them, they've made a good signing in McAllister. But Man City on another level, and Arsenal are very, very close to them. I think not in terms of strength in depth, but their starting 11 is excellent. I think Arsenal are going to run them very, very close next year.
you've also got the teams competing just outside or just outside the top seven. But then again, both of them broke in, which is Aston Villa and Brighton. Was that really down to the poor seasons that Chelsea and Spurs had, or do you think that Brighton? Because I thought the wheels were going to fall off a little bit when Potter
Yeah,
left, but De
yeah,
Zerbi went in there, did a fantastic job.
yeah. Did an amazing job, and they play great football. They're joy, they're good to watch. They've got underrated players. The centre half, Dunk, could play in any team. He's a fantastic. He's a warrior. What a competitor. Good player. I think he's so unlucky not to play for England, or to have plenty of caps in the cabinet. I think they're very strong. The lad alongside him is a real competitor. I think they're Webster. I think they're full of quality. But it depends if they lose another couple in the summer again. Then it's going to be more difficult for them. But I think they're a very, very good team, and the manager's done a great job. I speak to Adam Lallana, and he said he's fantastic. The manager, he loves him.
Hmm. And of course, Aston Villa. And he is, of course, Aston Villa are being managed by another Basque coach in Unai Emery, very much like Mikel Arteta, Lopetegui, and of course our own Iriola now. But Aston Villa were really struggling under Steven Gerrard last season, and Unai Emery seemed to turn it round with that same group of players. Um, what do you think the secret was there?
I don't know what the secret was. It happened, but look, can they do it again this year?
Hmm.
I had great respect for Stevie Gerrard. I think Stevie
Yes.
Gerrard, I think if they'd have invested a little bit more in the team, they'd have pushed on. But he's done well. Emre, you got to give him credit. He didn't do well at Arsenal, but he's gone into Villa and done a great job. But can he do it again next year? We'll have to wait and see. I see Villa's being, a team again round about halfway, top half, like maybe just getting into that top 10. But I don't see him challenging the top 4. But they're a good club, big club, great tradition. But they have done very, very well. He's certainly done a good job. But they need strengthening. They need another striker. They're relying on one man up there really to keep scoring for them. They need another striker. They need 1 or 2 players, I think, to strengthen the squad. They bought a centre half in, but they're still a little bit short. I think if they're going to start looking to get into that top 4, top 5, they're still a little bit away from that, I think.
And then just behind Spurs, there was a group of London clubs, so Brentford, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. Brentford were always around there. Fulham dropped off a little bit, but Palace looked like they were going to really be sucked into that relegation battle until Roy Hodgson managed to pull them out. What do you make of those three?
I think Brentford have been an amazing story. The manager's done a great job, hasn't he?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
um, what a story where they've been. I know they've been lower reaches of the Football League, and to do what they have achieved. We've got a fantastic new stadium. The chairman's a great guy there. The manager has just done an amazing job. He really has. I think he's gone in there and they bring players in that no one's ever heard of before. They really scout a foreign market and pick up lots. He obviously knows it, but their scouting system, their recruitment, it's been amazing. A little bit like Brighton's. Really, that's been the strength of both them clubs. They've recruited they brought good players in, absolutely top players. People that and they're people that no one really heard too much about it before they arrived there. But no, their recruitment has been the key, and the managers again, I can't speak highly enough of what he's achieved there. He's done a fantastic job, and Fulham as well. They've done well. They're talking about the manager maybe going out to Saudi Arabia now. He's being tempted by a massive offer to go to Saudi. So listen, it's not easy to turn money down when they're offering you fortunes. Will he start Fulham? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Mitrovic wants to leave. He's talking about going. If they lose him, how'd they replace him? Very difficult. Maybe Fulham next year, if they can repeat what they've done this year, it'll be a fantastic achievement. But if Mitrovic goes, it's going to be a lot more difficult. How do you replace his goals?
Well,
and Crystal Palace, Roy went in, did a great job. Roy knows the game. Roy's top manager, been around, knows, it's not rocket science. He goes in there, got them organised, done a lot of work with the team, probably on the train. He's bought, he's got Ray Lewington with him, and who has been his right hand man forever, really. But no, they've gone in there and they've got it, they've turned it round, and it ain't rocket science. They've got the best out of the players, and they end up having a good end of season. But again, they need to recruit. But they've bought Lerma, who's a decent player from Bournemouth. He's solid. But then they're going to need for a few more. But what they have got there, they've got a fantastic youth policy. It's a great catchment area, South London. All them kids there around that area. They've got some fantastic young players coming through. So that's the future of the club. Keep nurturing the youngsters, give them the opportunity to play, and hopefully that's what they'll do.
Wolves were an interesting one because they looked like they were going to be right in trouble earlier on in the season, but Lopetegui managed to pull them clear. But what did you make of Wolves last season?
I thought they were pretty average. I think they're banging. I think unless they recruit some players, they could be banging trouble next year. They've lost Neves. He's gone out to Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they're going to be in for a tough season unless they've sold the boy. Collins has gone, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
He looked a good sort, good character, good player. I don't know. I don't know where they're at, where they're going to spend some money. If they don't, they're going to be in for another very, very tough season.
In fact, Collins has gone to Brentford, hasn't he, for 23 million? So,
good signing.
Brentford.
Yeah, good character, good lad. But I haven't seen Wolves bring too many players in at the moment, have they?
No, not at all.
I don't know if George Mendes is still involved there. He was instrumental in what they achieved. Really, he brought all the Portuguese boys in, and he knew the Mexican boy up front. He knew them players. He's got worldwide contacts. He's the biggest agent in the world, and he would have bought. But I don't know whether he's still involved there. Someone told me maybe he's not so involved anymore at Wolves.
One team, though, and this is a conversation that me and Matt have both been having, is with regards to Wolves and Everton. Matt feels that Wolves will be in trouble. I feel that Everton are going to be in trouble, mainly because, of course, Everton have signed Ashley Young, a sensible signing, but they are going to struggle next season, aren't they?
Well, if they don't get some players in that group they got there at the moment, if they've got the same group, they're going to be in a relegation struggle again. Everton is one of the great football clubs. The tradition of the club, Evertonians, they know the game inside out. They love their club. They need better than what they're getting. They need to bring some players in. They need to sign, make some. I don't know. No one seems to know who owns the club, who don't own the club. There's a lot of infighting always seems to be going on. Whoever, they've got to give Sean Dyche some money to spend and look to recruit some good players. Otherwise, that group he's got there now are not good enough to be out of a relegation battle. They're going to be struggling.
And of course, Forest survived last season.
Again, he
And
did a great job. The manager did a fantastic job there, keeping his
yeah,
head, kept them going. They looked like they were going to go. It was everybody thought they would go down. But they made a lot of signings, 20 odd signings, too many. But, he didn't panic. There was talk about him going at one stage, but, he turned it round and yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for what he's achieved, getting them promoted, then keeping them up. He's done a great job there.
yeah, definitely. Um, Burnley have come up along with Sheffield United and, of course, Luton, which is a surprise name. Now, Burnley, of course, Sean Dyche's former team had a certain style that they played, but Vincent Company seems to have changed that quite a bit. And how much have you seen of Burnley? Because, of course, we played them last season in the FA Cup. We was a bit disappointed that day, in all fairness, but um, they look like a completely different outfit.
Well, they've probably got different players. That's why.
Hmm.
Sean Dyche did an amazing job at Burnley,
Yeah,
keeping them in the Premier League. And Vincent Company will do an amazing job if he keeps them in the Premier League. That's about where it's at. Um, Sean Dyche just did fantastic there. Whatever style of football, you can only do what you got, what player with what you got. And if they want to play an open attacking game this year, they had one taste of playing Premier League clubs last year when Man City went and beat them 6. So it's a different league. Championship is nowhere near Premier League.
hmm,
So I love Vincent Company. I think he's a fantastic young manager. Um, but, he was in a predicament. Does he go having gotten promoted or does he stick around? Because you know what this game's like. You go up, you lose a few games, and suddenly you're 1 minute you're the greatest thing in the world. Next thing, you lose half a dozen games early in the season and people are calling for your head. It's so fickle. It's crazy. We've seen it. Scott Parker gets Bournemouth up within about 7 games of the season. He's gone. It happens to so many people. And Vincent Company is was it? Should he have gone when he got him promoted? That would be the question. What can he achieve with Burnley? How far can he take them? If he keeps them up, he's done a great job again. Because at the moment, the favourites to go down would be Luton, Sheffield United, and probably Burnley, maybe Wolves. But certainly the three that come up they've all got it on to stay up next year for sure. If they do, it'll be a great achievement.
Luton, is a remarkable story.
Yeah,
And 10 years ago, next season, they was it was the season they managed to finally get out of the conference. And 10 years later, they're in the Premier League. Their fans are
fantastic,
probably pinching
amazing
themselves.
story, great story. It's really is. I speak to David Pleat, who's a massive, legend at that club, and they've just done fantastic. The managers come in, Nathan Jones did a great job there, a great job. Getting them up, pushing them up there, keeping them up in that top. The year before, they nearly made it last year, and they were, and then when he left, you thought that could be it. But the other lad comes in, and what a job he's done! He's took it on again, and so they deserve great credit, Luton. They're really it's a remarkable achievement.
They seem to be spending wisely, and they're going to have a lot of fight about them next season, aren't they?
Oh, listen, they're big, they're aggressive, they've got strong players. You say, I don't know, what do you mean when you say spending wisely? What, spending well or not spending much at all?
Not spending much at
No,
all.
that's what I say. They're not going to spend it. Well, I don't know if it's spending wisely. It probably means they're going to go with what they've got. If they go down, they'll probably
Mhm.
use most of the money to build a new stadium.
Yeah.
And that would be spending it wisely. But they're going to know if they don't spend some money on some players, then they're going to have to take what comes, and that'll probably be relegation. But they'll have the stadium, they'll have the training, whatever they're looking to build, and it's only going to make the club stronger in the future. It's a remarkable story. Luton's a smashing club. My son used to go every week, Jamie, up to Luton when he was a little boy. He was Luton Barmy. It's all we got at Christmas. Was Ricky Hill and the Steam brothers and all them lads. Walshy, and my house was full up with pictures of them, all over his bedroom walls. He loved Luton, so it's great to see Luton doing so well. It really is a wonderful story.
One side that has been promoted, though, that is probably going to be up against it is Sheffield United. And
Absolutely. Again, the manager's done a great job there getting them
yeah,
up, but he's got his hands tied behind his back. Probably he's got to do the same again next year. Probably with the same. There's always seems to be infighting at Sheffield. I don't know who owns it, who don't. I don't know. Again, it's a smashing club. Sheffield had great players over the years, great tradition. Tony Curry and people like that. They're fantastic, amazing footballers. But will they survive? It's going to be tough. At the moment, they'd be one of the three teams that you'd expect to go down.
yeah.
But you don't know. You don't know. They'll scrap and work. The manager will have them working their socks off. He's done an incredible job there. Can he keep them up? It's going to be hard. Give him the tools and he'll do it, I'm sure. But unless they do, he's got a tough job on his hands.
There's been a couple of people that have said to me before this season even kicks off, and I was a big Gary O'Neill fan, but I think Iriola is gonna it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be interesting, and he does seem to have a lot of connections on the continent to bring players in. And some people have said with the business that we have been linked with, that Europe isn't out the equation. Could you imagine that for our little football club down at Dean Court, European nights?
Yeah, it would be fantastic, but it's a long way off. I don't think we should be. I certainly wouldn't be sitting here thinking of getting to Europe next year. It would be one of the greatest achievements in history. As great as them getting promoted. But yeah, it would be incredible. But I mean, we did it at Portsmouth, got into Europe. But I mean, to do it at Bournemouth would be amazing. But I don't know. I mean, wait and see. Wait and see. I don't know anything about the new manager. To be truthful, I know nothing about him. We'll find out as the season goes on. But it's not. It's all about recruitment. He's not trying to. It's not his recruitment bringing the boy in from Bristol City. He wouldn't even know him.
Hmm.
That's how the game is now. It's not. Players are not signed by managers anymore. They're signed by recruitment people. They bring players in. He's not walked in this country. I want the lad at Bristol City. If someone said to him, "Who's the boy Scott at Bristol City?" he wouldn't have had a clue.
Hmm.
He wouldn't even know what he looked like. So he gets what he's given. He gets on and coaches them, and works with them. And depending on how good they are, how successful he is.
I believe a lot of it's down to Neil Blake and Richard Hughes at the club, but Richard Hughes is somebody you'll know, and has done a decent job. What do you make of Richard Hughes?
Yeah, I love Richard. He's a good lad. I had him at Portsmouth, and yeah, I mean he'd be in charge of the recruit. He's doing the recruitment along with whoever else they got there. I know Eddie Howe's nephew was there, and he was very good. I met him a few times, very knowledgeable on the game. But he's gone to Newcastle now with Eddie. So Richard's really clued up with all the players. He'll know where the players are, who they are, what they had for dinner, how fast they can run, what they can do, how many goals he's got. He's a walking encyclopedia really of footballers. So he's very good at his job.
Well, I've already predicted Newcastle are going to finish fourth, but Harry, who do you think is going to win the league and get those other three remaining Champions League places next season?
I've got a feeling Arsenal will win it next year.
Arsenal to win the league.
I've got a feeling they could win it. Yeah, I've just got a feeling. One, it's not going to be good news for Spurs fans, but I've got a feeling if anyone's going to topple Man City, listen, Man City odds on favourites, but if anyone's going to do it, Arsenal look very, very good. They got some really good players. If anyone's going to nick the title off of Man City, I can only see it being Arsenal at the moment. I think Liverpool still, we'd love to see Liverpool back there again. I think they'll be up there again next year. But they lost some key players, Liverpool, and even the key people in the dressing room. Milner, Henderson might go. Firmino has gone. Salah went. They were good players. They're very hard to replace them type of people. Van Dijk hasn't been the same player since he's. Hopefully he'll be back to full, really up and running next year because he's a fantastic player. But last year he had a disappointing year. So they need to. Chelsea, I think, I think Tottenham will do okay next year. I think Tottenham will do well. I think Spurs will be up there next year. I can see them really pushing for the top 4 place. I think I like the manager. And I think that Maddison's a really good signing, really good player, good footballer, can make things happen, make goals, score goals. I think he's going to be a real big player, Maddison. Harry Kane, Maddison, Son. I mean, that is potent, Richarlison, who plays for Brazil, yet couldn't get in regular last year. He may come good this year. You've got the other boys they bought, they've got some talent there. They've got some players. I think next year could be their year. They could, to bounce back and to get back in the Champions League. But if I'm looking for somebody at the top of Man City, at the moment, I can only see Arsenal.
So you think Spurs will get in the top 4?
I think they've got a good chance. I think, man, if you ask me to put my life on it at the moment, I'd go Arsenal, Man City for sure. Then it's Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Man United, Tottenham, Liverpool. I see it really being between them. I haven't missed anybody out up there, have I? Newcastle. I don't see Chelsea. Newcastle, beg your pardon. Newcastle, of course. I forgot Newcastle. I do beg your pardon. I'll get ready when I walk my dog tomorrow. He'll have the hump with me. No, I think Newcastle are going to be back. I see them 6 really, but Newcastle will be bang there. Yeah, of course they will. Sorry, I forgot Newcastle. Yeah, they'll be right there. But I think Tottenham have got a much better chance next year. I like the manager. I think he's very, very good. I hear nothing but good things about him. So I think they're going to be close next year to getting back in the top 4, Tottenham. But I do think Arsenal are a big danger to Man City. If you ask me as a betting man, would I rather bet Man City at 6-4 on or Arsenal at 5-1? I'd bet Arsenal at 5-1. I think there's more value in betting Arsenal. I wouldn't want to take 6-4 on Man City.
No, fair enough. Do you think we'll be all right, Harry?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I like the owner. He looks a good man. He's come in, enthusiastic. They're buying players, having a go. He's improving things. Yeah, I think Bournemouth are going to be very, very safe next year. I see us, I can see us. I don't see us being in that relegation scrap.
And who do you reckon the 3 to go down will be?
Oh, I hate predicting this, but I'd have to say, if you had pushed me, I'd have to say Luton, and I love Luton and Sheffield United. And I think Burnley or Wolves. I'd have to throw Wolves into the mix. I think it could well be Wolves next year.
You think Everton will survive?
Just about. With that squad, just about. Might go to the last game of the season again. Give Sean Dyche a chance. Give him some tools to work with, and he'll keep you up, no problem. But if you don't, he's going to have a tough job.
And Forest will be fine, I'm guessing, as well.
Forest, yeah, again, they won't. Listen, they're going to be down there somewhere. They're going to be that bottom 7 or 8. But, I mean, they did great last year. So there's going to be the same. There'll be 7 or 8 teams scrapping to stay up, wouldn't there? There'll be the teams at the top. You can name them who ain't, Brighton, the top, all the big 6 will all be safe. Obviously, they're not going to go down. Then you're looking at Villa, Brighton, who look like they'll be okay. So it'll be the same teams in the top half and the same group scrapping away at the bottom. Fulham could get sucked in a bit next year. No Mitrovic. If the manager decides to leave, they might not be so strong next year. It might be tougher for Fulham. But they looked good last year. Did great. But next year's another year. And if Mitrovic goes, then it's going to be hard to replace him. How do you replace them goals?
Well, Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Um, of course, we are going to be looking for goals ourselves. Solanke does score a lot of goals, but do you feel that we do need a little bit more reinforcement up front from last season?
Yeah, I think. Well, we've got strikers, haven't we? Really now,
Yeah,
the Kiefer Moore came in, didn't he? And
yeah,
I think they've got enough up front to be a threat to anybody. You got pace out wide. I was disappointed they lost the left back. I was surprised that happened.
hmm
I liked him. But where's he gone?
he's gone to Udinese.
Who's an
So
agent? What a backward step that is for him. Why has he gone there? I liked him. I think he's got. I liked him. His pace, get bomb forward, energy. I liked him and Anthony playing together on that left side. I thought they were very good.
yeah, and really good friends as well. And Smithy's always been there, hasn't he? He's done a good job on the right hand side. Was you surprised?
Smith is a great pro, great lad, good
Yeah,
pro, good player. Smithy. They should have a statue out there, outside that ground. Smithy, Charlie Daniels, Simon Francis, Tommy Elphick,
yeah,
Cookie, Stevie, all that group. They were just amazing, amazing players that got the club up. I think they were special guys.
they were players that we signed from nowhere, weren't they, Harry?
Yeah,
And
Lee Bradbury was very responsible for bringing a few of them in, wasn't he?
yes, yeah, signed from nowhere and managed to turn, and along with Eddie, managed to turn those players into something as a collective and as individuals, improve them
Yeah,
as well.
good lads, special guys. Yeah, amazing what they achieved, really. Yeah, it was, no one would have seen half of them playing in the Premier League, but they end up playing there, beating teams like Man United, Liverpool. They were fantastic, I think.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Just a final word before I let you go. Of course, Gary O'Neill. I was gutted to see him leave the club, um, but he has got a fantastic future in football, hasn't he?
Hopefully, you don't. Who knows?
Mm,
It depends. You need the right job, the right club, the right chairman. It ain't. It's not a case of he's clever. Anyone's that clever or that much clever. He's got to go into a club where they've got some ambition. If he goes into the wrong club and then goes and gets another, but Frank Lampard is a fantastic football man.
mhm,
He's ended up going to Everton. It was a bad job for him,
mhm,
struggling to keep him up. I don't care who goes in there; they're going to struggle. Angelotti struggled there. The boy at Fulham, Silver, struggled there. They all struggled there. It's taking the right job. He walks in, he walks in after the boy from Brighton goes to take the job at Chelsea. He Potter, he can't succeed. Frank goes in, he can't. It depends where you go and what club you at. If Gary takes a good job where he's got some chance, he'll be great. He's a good lad, knows the game, excellent. But if he takes a job with a wrong chairman and he goes in and they've got no ambition, he's got to be very careful. You have to choose the right job, and that take his time. He's proved what he can do. He was very unlucky to lose his job, but when the opportunities come there, don't dive in at the first one. Look carefully and make sure it's a club that where you've got a chance to be successful.
yeah, definitely. And I wish him the very, very best
Yeah,
because I think
absolutely.
he's a lovely man, and I think he'll be successful. But like you say, if it's the right club,
Of
you know,
course,
if it's the right club.
absolutely.
Well, Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on again.
Great, good
Thank you so
talking to
much.
you again. What's your prediction for next year? Because you astounded me last year by tipping Newcastle for a top four.
I'm going to say
And I
Newcastle.
think I'm going to follow you. You seem a better judge than me. I'm going to follow your judgment and have a bet on whoever you stick up this year.
I'm going to say Newcastle finish fourth again. I don't think
Well,
they'll be.
that's not exciting. I mean, they've got
No,
a big chance. Give me a Bournemouth in the top six or something. Are you going to come out with something crazy again that we couldn't have a bet on?
I don't think we'll be top six. I think we'll probably be between ninth and 11th. I think that
Really?
I think,
That would be fantastic. I would take that now. That would be amazing. Let's hope you're right.
yeah, I think between ninth and 11th. But I know it's not many places, but Aston Villa, 5th. At the end of the day, that's a
Well,
young
I
squad.
tell you what, I'll give you 20-1 Aston Villa top six.
I don't do bets, Harry.
Come
You
on,
know
have a bet. Put your money where your mouth is, Craig. 20-1.
I'd have a quid on it.
Okay. I think you fancy Everton to go down. Come on.
Everton, yeah, I think Everton, are really going to struggle.
Come on and have a pound. I'll give you 10-1 Everton. Don't go down.
Go on then.
Short I should keep them up somehow. I'll give you 10-1. If you want a pound to a tenner, you've got it.
Well, should we make it more interesting? Should we do it tenner?
You want a tenner to win 100?
Yeah, tenner, 10-1.
Well, I'll have to go. I'll have to ring the bank manager up, see if he let me overdraw for 100 quid. But go on then. You've got a bet, right? You've got a bet. A bottle of wine, red wine for me. Nice bottle of red wine.
Okay.
Or 100 quid for you.
Okay. So
A
if Everton
£10 bottle of wine, not an expensive bottle. £10 at the supermarket or whatever.
Fair enough, Harry. Let's do it.
Okay. Well
All
done,
right.
Craig.
Thank you so much, Harry.
As long
again.
as the Cherries stay up, we're not bothered. We want them up there again this year and playing great football and enjoy watching Premier League football. It's fantastic.
Yeah, most definitely. And hopefully West Ham and Spurs will do well
the
as
Hammers
well.
will be okay. Hammers will be good. They're down here early. Tottenham, West Ham, we've got them all coming down, haven't we?
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Be fantastic.
Thank you so much, Harry.
Cheers,
for coming
Craig.
on.
Keep well, mate.
As always. Take care. See you soon,
Bye.
Harry.
Bye.
And there we have it. Please do hit the like, the subscribe, the bell button below to be alerted to any new videos we do here up the Cherries in all departments. Like I say, we are going to be doing a lot about all the clubs across the Premier League. So we would really, really appreciate all your subscriptions. And also let us know if you agree with myself and Harry, or if you completely disagree, let us know where you're going to finish. Even if you want, put up a league table. Also, do check out the videos that we did earlier on in the year. We did speak to Harry Redknapp about finding top talent as well. We did also speak to him after that Spurs victory, and we did even talk to him about the relegation battle last season. And there is a feature-long interview with Harry Redknapp that was done about 2.5 years ago. So please do check that out as well. We also have spoken to Efan Akuku, Luther Blizzard, amongst many others on this show as well. So do check every video we have done out. But until the next show, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then.